It is the point, yeah. But hey, I got a question, India. What do you think about the angle of descent argument?
The angle of descent.
Do
I
you
don't
know
know
a
what you mean.
rebuttal?
Like you're
Yeah,
going
so
over the
so
curve
like
of the
when a
earth.
plane is
That crap.
no, no, no. So like when a plane's coming to land, right, it'll start to calculate its angle of descent based on its altitude and its distance out. Sometimes it'll be as short as like 5 miles out from the airport. Sometimes, depending on like so like say in the military and stuff, they can do it as far as 150, 200 miles out. What they do is they determine the angle at which they're going to descend, and they do this calculation based on a horizontal baseline beneath them, right? They draw their angle down to meet the horizontal baseline, and they calculate it that way, and then they do it, and then they land. Of course, if the Earth is curved, right, like that baseline is not horizontal, your angle is going to be different. The angle on which you need to descend is going to be different. And then Man of Stone had a couple pilots actually record their descent and send it to him, and he pulled the data, and based on the recordings, and the data actually matched the flat Earth prediction of the angle of descent within 1%, but it was like 1,200 feet off for a globe prediction. And
Well,
I've tried to think about it. I can't even think of a
it actually
rebuttal for the
sounds
globe.
pretty good. I mean, I haven't heard this before. The only thing I know about like them doing something with it is it's called a black hole landing. So there's a landing, there's an angle that you can come at for a landing, and like there's two angles, right? But they both look the same visually. It's like 24 degrees and 42 degrees or something. And because they look the same, sometimes because like because we see in a visual angle, right? So like something like 42 degrees coming in, like the runway will look the same as it does at 24 degrees. So like but if you're coming in at 42 degrees, you're going to smash right into the tarmac, right? So this is a problem like landing at night, where that's why it's called a black hole landing, because the pilot will, if they're doing a visual landing, they'll mess up the angle that they're landing at because they look the same visually. I actually have a bunch. I had a bunch of stuff on this, but that actually, yeah, if the curve of the Earth, like the angle, especially if they're like far away. So say they're like 20 miles out, right, and they're coming in for their landing, like the angle they have to take for like a curved Earth versus a
Hello.
flat Earth will be totally different.
Totally different, bro. That's what I'm saying. I would be very interested to see you check out the angle
Because
of
the
descent. I
runway's
think
gonna
you
be
can YouTube.
tilted, right? From where they are,
Oh,
right, at 20
what?
miles away, the surface of the Earth will be
The
tilted like
ang- the
downward away from them.
runway's going to be tilted.
Correct. Yeah. Do you not understand basic geometry? Is that the problem here?
You really think over that
Relative
the
to the
runway
airplane.
will be tilted?
Yeah. Shapes are hard. I know, Gary.
Gary, you
I'm
just
an
said you saw a
aerospace
curve from an
engineer,
airplane and now
mate.
the Earth's too big that the curve matters. You're hilarious.
Do you know what an angle of descent is, Gary?
Oh my God! This is
That's a no. That's a no. That's what my daughter
the
says
angle of
when she doesn't
descent.
know the answer. She's 20 months old,
Hey,
by the way.
the angle of
This is
descent
pathetic.
matters nothing to where you're landing because of the absolute size of the Earth.
Hey, if I
Wait,
could interject real quick, Gary. Look
Take a struggle, Gary.
Yeah,
look
interject.
look at the speed. Look at the speed of the SR-71. I think the record breaking flight was an hour and
All
52
right,
minutes from
brilliant.
North America to Europe, and they would have to descend at something like 600 miles an hour to keep up with the curve of the Earth.
Absolute rubbish.
yeah, and I have a military contractor, by the way, that supports and watches my channel, and they're like, by the way, we wouldn't be like signed up to support you
Do
if
you,
we didn't know for a
do, I,
fact
do
that the Earth. Hey, I'm talking, buddy, Gary. I'm talking,
I'll
buddy.
leave you.
And he's
Carry
like,
on.
and they were talking about like how the like going Mach 2 just over the Earth. All of our technology is completely calculated on a flat Earth. Now imagine going super fast at a very high altitude and then calculating your angle of descent. And so when I asked you about angle of descent and you said the quote absolute size of the Earth or scale of the Earth, it shows that you don't even know what an angle of descent is. Can you tell me what it is?
I don't need to tell you what it is.
Because you don't know what it is.
I don't care what it is.
Then how do you know it's
I'm
So
with
you're
Gary on this. All this shit that Wits is saying is complete and utter trash. The angle
It
of
is.
descent is 3 degrees, right? But they don't do it from an angular perspective. They do it from the altimeters. They use their altimeters and they say, this is how many miles we are from the airport. This is the altitude we need to be. That's how they do it. Fucking, you're an idiot.
Absolutely.
But buddy, you just Googled that.
No,
Although
no,
you
he
just
didn't.
No,
Googled
I
that.
actually did a drawing, which I actually tracked the entire flight of a particular thing, and found it out myself.
Okay, angle of descent is calculated via an angle. That's
Angle.
a fact.
Well,
And
are you trying to
actual
dumb talk at me now?
Yes.
Yeah, he
They
is.
fucking use
And the
altimeters, you moron. Fuck.
They don't
Yeah,
know
but
what
that has
an
nothing
it's the
to do-
altimeter above a
They
curved
don't even
surface,
know
right?
what an altimeter is.
So cool.
They don't
It's the
understand
altimeter
what
above a curved
it is.
surface, right? Yeah, so it's an altimeter above a curved surface, right? So you have the absolute height above the surface of the Earth. Plus you have
altitude, speed, and time.
Yeah, an altimeter isn't a rebuttal to this. This is just ignorant. And the real home run here is that when the pilot sent in the recordings of their descents, we were able to look at the actual data. Okay. The data matches a flat Earth angle of descent calculation and was off by 1,200 feet for the globe Earth angle of descent. So, very simple question for you guys. If you're going to calculate an angle of descent to a flat Earth, and then you're going to calculate an angle of descent to a globe Earth, are those going to be the same? Yes or no?
This is really, really stupid.
Yeah, is that a yes or a no?
I'm with Gary on this. This
Yes
is
or no?
really
He doesn't
fucking
know what you're
stupid.
talking about.
Yeah,
Witsy,
but
you
Yes
but
or
if he's
no,
stupid,
Savala?
but is that a
you're
yes or
just
a
talking
no?
out your ass. Just shut the
Yeah, but
fuck
is it
up.
a yes or a no?
The
But is it a yes or a
tiny,
no?
tiny little
Why can't you
space.
answer a yes or no
It
question? Is this very hard? Would the
The
calculation be the
tiny,
same or
tiny
not?
little space
Okay, so
that a
If
yeah,
plane
cool.
in
lands on
in a
may well be treated as flat.
Okay,
Do you
That
want to
does
bet?
not mean the Earth is flat.
Is the
does it
answer
mean it's
yes or no
curved?
to my question? Yes or no? Yes
Ask
or no?
your
Is the angle of
question,
descent
Gabe.
calculation the same on a flat Earth as it is on a
It's a
globe Earth? Yes or
stupid
no?
question.
Then answer it. Yes or
It's
no?
a stupid question.
hey,
Okay,
hey,
you can't answer it. Okay, so
I would
Swala, can
say
you answer yes or no?
having flown several small planes and regular planes at altitude, speed, and distance is pretty easy when you're in a small plane and the speed is insignificant. But you put that into something like, if you could go ahead and look it up yourself, Gary, an SR-71 and the speed they're going and the rate of descent they would have to take to make their landing is irrefutable.
The, re-
Yeah, and
the
the
reason
objective answer
Irrefutable
is
at what?
no. The answer is no, it's not the same. That's a fact. So I want someone to come off their mic as a Glober and try to say otherwise, please.
the recent
What does it
Go ahead,
summary
matter?
say
I
it with your
checked
chest.
recently, right, is I went out there and
I am
tracked
happy
one
to
plane
engage.
which was at 36,000 feet, right, and at about 100 to 150 kilometers from the airport, it started its decline. And it declined down to about a height of about 2 Ks, and then it went down for the final approach. Its first decline was about 8 degrees. The final one was 3 degrees. 3 degrees for approach.
Okay, you didn't answer the question. Is the angle of descent calculation the same on a flat Earth and a globe Earth? Yes
My
or no?
God, what the
They
hell
talk
are
about
you
altitude,
talking
you
about?
moron.
It
Can I
Fuck.
doesn't
answer?
make any difference at
Can I
all.
answer?
Okay, they can't answer it. The answer is
Hello.
no. It's not the
Can I
same,
answer?
and the data show
It
that it
may be the
matches the
same.
flat Earth. It's
Flat
not the
Earth
Thank you.
or
same. It's just
globe
basic
Earth, it
math.
doesn't
Can I
make
answer on
any
behalf of the globe,
difference.
please?
Hold on, real quick. We'll get there.
And hello.
All right, go ahead, Peter. See if you can't count that.
Yeah. Who was the man who spoke who claimed to be a pilot? Because he's the only one that used the correct term.
Yeah, I wouldn't claim to be a pilot. I have worked towards my private pilot license,
Oh, okay.
and
Fair enough.
I have flown quite a few planes.
I don't need your story, bud.
Right.
You just
Angle of
used the
descent
correct
is the
term.
right term. Angle of
Okay, he
descent is
used
what
the
it's called.
term rate of
Thanks for
descent.
cutting me off.
So
No,
can I answer
there's
for the
an
globe?
angle of descent.
I know.
What
Can I
So that
answer
is
on
the
behalf
right
of the
term
globe?
then, Peter. You're blocked for a
Okay.
reason. I have you blocked for a reason. You're a troll.
Angle of descent
Hi.
is
How are you doing?
dependent on
So,
the airport that
could I
you
answer on
are
behalf of the globe, or
landing at.
will Witsit answer on behalf of the globe?
Well, I just corrected that you said it wasn't the proper term. You're objectively wrong. It's
Can
called
I
angle of
can
descent.
I explain how this works on the globe, please, and then you'll
Yeah,
tell me
as soon
how
as
I'm
you
wrong?
acknowledge that's the correct term.
Yeah, I already accept that I've lost the argument. Can I now represent the globe?
Yeah, you were wrong about the angle of
Okay.
descent term. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm wrong about everything I'm about to say.
No shit.
So, on a globe, if we want to intercept the certain altitude where the airport is, hello?
Robot.
We can hear you, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, you're robot.
Well, what can I say? How about now? Is it better now?
You go ahead. Let's hear your fallaciousness.
Okay. So if I'm at a certain altitude, certain distance away from the airport, and I want to intercept the airstrip, let's assume it's at 0 altitude. What I need to calculate is how many feet of altitude should I be losing, descending, per minute.
Yeah, how do you calculate
Does that make sense?
Yeah, how do you
On a
calculate
globe,
that?
you take an elevation profile like you would on flat Earth, exactly the same way. You know your distance to the airport, you know your speed, you know the difference in altitude, and you ask yourself, how many feet per minute should I be descending to reach 0 in, 5 minutes and 32 seconds, whatever the distance and speed is.
How do you calculate
That's how.
that?
You take
You
the
calculate
distance,
it.
you take your speed, you get the time. The time is 6 minutes. Okay, altitude is 10,000 feet difference. So I need to be losing 10,000 feet divided by 6 feet per minute. Same
Okay, now
calculation.
I encourage everyone that's listening, just simply Google it, angle of descent. You can go to images, you can
This
go to
is the
videos.
angle of
Hey,
descent.
Yeah. So how do you get the angle
Shut
from
up.
your? Listen. How do we get the angle from your
You
calculation?
gotta earn it to be my
Peter.
buddy.
Eat
Peter.
there, Peter.
How do we get the angle from your values?